How can you have a desire and not feel good enough, not feel worthy to actually experience that? How can you change your belief when it comes to worthiness? Are you feeling deserving of that wish fulfilled, that dream relationship, that abundance? Well, in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how you can change that perspective and start to feel worthy and deserving of whatever it is that you want to experience in your life. I'm going to show you not only how your worthiness was formed, but how you can begin to let go of that current level, no matter what it is, and start tapping into the power of your true worth. So let's get started. It's important for you to understand where your current level of worthiness or lack thereof, or not feeling deserving of desire you have. You don't feel good enough to have abundance. You don't feel worthy of unconditional love. How can you want something and then not feel good enough? Well, I'm going to explain where that tension has come from, how whatever it is that aligns with your desires is actually your true self. So when you're a little baby, you come into the world and you only have two fears, the fear of falling and the fear of loud noises. You don't have beliefs. You have an inherent sense of worthiness. So it's really important that you understand where your beliefs were formed. The beliefs are going to be the container for really your worthiness or your unworthiness, or if you're deserving or undeserving. So it's important to understand that the adults in your life, whoever was taking care of you. This could also be teachers, this could be grandparents, this could be aunts, uncles, whatever. People who were significant, who had the ability to protect you or take care of you, who you thought knew better than you. Here we are, you with a blank slate, no beliefs, okay? So if you had an environment where people didn't take care of your needs, they did the best they could, and that could have looked really dysfunctional. That doesn't mean they're really bad people, but it means that your needs weren't met. Maybe they were actually mean physically or mentally or psychologically to you. Maybe they just weren't interested. Maybe they worked tons and tons and they were trying to actually care for you through material stuff. And really the other influence here could be their actual belief system. So what you have to understand is that when these things happened in your life, oh, okay, this caretaker who, also take into consideration that as a kid, you can't take care of yourself. You literally can't feed yourself. You can't clean yourself. So you're relying and you're dependent on this person. So in my opinion, you kind of put them like a god. They know best. Wow, they have this money. They can drive this car. They know so much and I don't. So my life, my sense of survival is actually dependent on this person. They know best. Because if they don't know best, then it's all on me and I'm screwed because I don't know how to do this. So you kind of put this hierarchy that they know better. So when this person who knows better, according to your sense of survival, your physical survival, they don't meet your needs, you might think, oh, it's because I'm not enough. If I was enough, this person who knows best would have met those needs. So surely it's me. And maybe they were mean to you. You could take this, interpret it because you don't have reasoning skills as a kid and say, oh, the reason they were mean to me because they know best is because I'm not lovable. You're taking these situations that happened and then actually creating some sort of interpretation or meaning so you can better understand the world. But what happens here, and again, also too, if my caretakers weren't interested in me, that they're no best, so I'm probably just not important. And also too, taking the belief system. So what you do is you transfer into your belief systems and you adopt potentially their entire belief system. Oh, love is just bullshit. No one's really there for you. No one cares about you. Everyone's out for their own good. Or money is so hard to get. You have to just be a corrupt, terrible person, or you have to do some really, really, really hard work. So you might completely adopt their system and then you adapt your sense of self to this. So that's the biggest thing. So understand that if you have not gone back and looked at these situations that were formed from little you could be living through the interpretation of what happened, you putting meaning, you putting labels, you trying to understand yourself in the world in these situations, and then this is now your belief system. Again, you could straight up adopt heavily the belief system of your caretakers because guess what too? They're your early on culture. If you get kicked out of that culture and you're out on the streets, you can't take care of yourself. So your sense of survival depends on being accepted by them. So what do you have to do? You have to adapt to the way that they're being. Now, what gets lost is who you actually are. It's important to recognize how vital this person was to your existence. So you give them the go-ahead, the right-of-way, the superior opinion, and you prioritize their opinion over yours because your opinion at this time will not get it done. You can't survive without them. So what happens though, you're unconsciously still prioritizing how this person treated you and what it must have meant about you. So that's childhood. So let's go to part 2 of how this is continually playing out now. So what we got now is adult you. Because these things are unconscious and they're just part of how you know things to be, it feels very familiar. Oh yeah, I'm not good enough, but I'm gonna work really hard and I'm gonna earn my love. You could feel completely not lovable, so you might try to distract people from you, or maybe you have very superficial relationships because you're afraid to dive in, because if they do and they see you, then they're gonna figure it out. So maybe you actually leave a relationship before they leave you. And you might just feel, oh, I'm not important. And maybe you try to always make yourself important. Maybe you find people who are really, really in need, so you can buy in that that you are then important to them. So you have this other person, and this could be friendships, it could be romantic relationships. The closer the person is, the more they're going to play out that original traumatic dynamic. So relational trauma is how this plays out, basically. And again, according to Gabor Mate, it's not about the thing that happened, it's about what that thing did inside of you. You not feeling worthy, you not feeling good enough is that traumatic thing on how you had to then distort how you could move in the world. So the thing that happens here is that you attract somebody who actually picks up on this, right? They have their wounds, so you're going to match up. These are going to basically lock in. You're going to find somebody, you're going to attract somebody who is most likely going to bring up these feelings. This is where it gets confusing, because you think, well, if I was worthy, then this person would treat me that way. But what you're not taking into consideration is this person has their own big bubble of what they're bringing from their own experiences, from whatever they've been through. So the more and more this gets churned up, and the more you think, oh, it's me. And again, you're doing the same dynamic. You're giving their opinion priority over your own. So that's why it keeps coming up, and you have all this proof that you're not good enough or you're not worthy. You have an early on pattern, and you keep attracting that somebody else who's going to bring that up or who's going to reflect it back to you. The more and more you get conscious of this pattern and realize it's not you, it's who you think that you are. And your confusion is that this is all you are. But what you've got to start doing is prioritizing your own opinion. If you can start to see that your caretakers, whatever happened, did the best that they were capable of at that time, that doesn't mean it was enough for you. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't be upset and hurt and disappointed and maybe mourn that they couldn't be there for you emotionally. But what it does mean is that their treatment of you is not your value system. So this is what you got to start to do, is say, oh, okay, I felt like I wasn't good enough because they didn't meet my needs, but I've assumed that they could meet my needs. Maybe part of this is that they lacked the emotional capacity that I needed, and that is sad, and you can mourn that. And you are worthy of getting your needs met. You are enough because you are a unique person on this planet, a unique soul that is one fractionated part of a whole. So your literal existence is your proof of worth. You are absolutely lovable because you are love. You're at the very core, you are love. So what you need to start to do is start to realize that anything that is not in the place that it can be valued is not going to be seen as valuable. For instance, a diamond in a tire store might fall on the ground and no one notices it because people are there for tires. What's valued in that environment is tires. If you take that same diamond to a jewelry store, it would be absolutely adored and anointed and put on some amazing display case. And I'm sure the value would be thousands and thousands of dollars. Now, the diamond was always valuable, even when it was in that tire shop. But it not being in the right environment was showing it that it wasn't valuable because people didn't have the capacity to value the diamond. So if you can start to understand whatever it is that you grew up in, you did not deserve terrible treatment. If you can see it with your adult mind and say, oh, okay, well, what if it were true that they lacked the emotional capacity? So what I thought was there, and I thought if I worked hard, if I would have been better, then I could have gotten it. It was never available. And yeah, that makes my heart sad to even think about it, because that's going to be the case for so many people watching. As human beings, we're doing the best we can, and we make mistakes and we fall short, or maybe we have regrets. The more you can start to update and prioritize how you view yourself. How would you value yourself if you had that dream job, if you had that significant amount of money, or if you had that loving, safe relationship, how would you feel? Your value and in terms of deserving. As you can see, anything that stands in the way of that, any kind of idea or belief, is that your idea? Or is that a voice from your caretaker, your parent, your grandma, a teacher? Is that their voice getting replayed in your head that's keeping you contained to their opinion? You have your opinion, and as soon as you start to identify and release theirs, you can start to actually step into your true worth and realizing you've always deserved it. No matter how other people have treated you, it wasn't a reflection of you growing up, it was a reflection of them and where they were emotionally. As you can let go of that having anything to do with you, you'll stop also attracting the people who play out that dynamic, because you'll have space to see yourself differently. The more and more you prioritize your own opinion, the more you can step into realizing your worth is already there. It's always been there. You've deserved it. You always have, and you always will. Learning how to step into your true worth and that you've always deserved whatever it is that you're desiring to experience will absolutely change your life. This next video right here is going to show you the most powerful way to raise your vibration to alignment with that worthy and deserving version of you. I love y'all. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, click that like button. If you haven't done so already, join the community. I'll see you on the next one.